Yuu Otosaka is a high school student with the ability to mind control others for 5 seconds. He takes advantage of his powers by cheating his way into an elite high school by mind controlling other students and using their answers during exams. This allows him to pretend to be a prodigy. He is invited to be the speaker for incoming students. Due to his high scores, he attracts jealousy from male students and interest from female students and constantly has to turn down girls who confess to him. This is because he is determined to be the boyfriend of the school idol Yumi. Using his powers, he creates a situation where a truck driver almost hits Yumi and then saves her. Then, as thanks for his help, he gets a date with her after school the next day. He is happy with his manipulations but is suddenly called into the student council room. At the student council, the president accuses him of cheating due to his perfect scores, and Yuu is forced to retake the exam inside the room. A panicked Yuu takes control of the president but is caught by Nao Tomori, who had recorded him using his abilities. Now shows proof of his cheating, but Yuu angrily denies the accusation and attempts to flee. In town, he is suddenly chased by a person using teleporting abilities, a student named Jujuru Takaju, who works with Nao. He is able to capture Yuu, although Jujuru's inconvenient ability gets him injured all the time. Nao arrives and asks Yuu to transfer to their school, the Hoshinoumi Academy, so that he can study with other students with powers like him. Yuu tries to fight her, but Nao has the ability to become invisible to one person. She turns invisible and beats him up. That night, he returns home to his younger sister Ayumi, who tells him Hoshinoumi Academy has sent him a big scholarship to attend the school. She celebrates by cooking for him. The next day, Yuu meets Yumi, who is thankful to him for saving her, but since he is transferring to a new school, she dumps him. A depressed Yuu moves into the academy and is visited by Nao, who plays with his sister. Soon it is time for Yuu to go to his classes for the first time, and on his first day, Nao tells him the mission of the academy is to protect students with powers, so that outside groups do not take advantage of them. He is horrified to see that he shares a homeroom with Nao and Jujuru. At lunch, since the lunch line is long, Jujuru uses his ability to skip the line, but he wrecks the cafeteria in the process. While they eat their sandwiches, Jujuru also tells you that although Nao is the student president, she has no female friends and her personality changed from middle school. Nao invites them to the student council room, where another student uses his power to help locate other people with powers. Yuu gets roped into helping Nao. At the school now, when Yuu chase a suspicious guy and Yuu uses his ability to help Nao and Jujuru apprehend him, they find the student has indecent photos of his classmates and he reveals he bought them from Yodo, who is captain of the archery team. Udo reveals that he is using the money to help his sick family. He attempts to blackmail Nao with a photo he created of her, but is stopped by Yuu. He shoots an arrow at Nao, but Jujuru blocks it and she persuades the archery captain to turn himself in. After school, Nao tells Yuu about her older brother, who was the first person to gain powers while she was in middle school. Her brother wanted to be a musician, but Nao's mother sent them both to a boarding school. At the school, Nao and her brother were experimented on by scientists who had discovered her brother's sound ability through his music. Her brother lost his mind, but eventually they escaped the boarding school. She later takes Yuu to see her brother, who lives in an insane asylum. She states that a special person took her to the academy and helped her take care of her brother. After spending time with Nao and her brother, Yuu worries about his own sister developing powers. He watches as that night she stargazes again to see a special comment. Later, Yuu asks Ayumi to stop cooking for him since he can get lunch at the cafeteria, but she insists. And once again, Jujuru hurts himself at lunch using his ability. They get a call to report to the student council room, and their new target is a person with 2 abilities. They investigate in town and find out a famous idol named Yusa Kiribane has been in the area. They also catch a man spying on them and after a brief chase manage to capture him. The man is stalking Yusa and the students meet Sho, a friend of Yusa's, who takes them to the idol. Yusa reveals that she has multiple personality disorder, and after talking with Yusa's friends, they find out that Yusa had an older sister named Misa who had died and is possessing Yusa's body. An angry Misa starts to light the room on fire but soon calms down. Now tells Misa about her stalker, who works for a shady TV producer. They plan a midnight meeting with the producer and they take out the producer's bodyguards and beat him up. After the producer is arrested, they persuade Misa and Yusu to enroll in the academy. Since Misa will be leaving, Sho confesses to her and Misa thanks him for helping her, but he should forget about her since she has died and that he has to live his own life. That night, Yuu tells his sister about what happened after she scolds him for returning home so late. At school the next day, Yusa transfers into their class and instantly becomes popular. She is able to charm her fellow students with her kindness and solves their disputes. She later joins them in their next mission, which is to find a prospective student who has telekinesis. They determine he must be using his powers to cheat at baseball because his school's baseball team has been winning many matches. They meet the baseball pitch and now ask him to stop using his ability to cheat and warns him not to draw attention to himself. Arifumi refuses, now then challenges Arifumi to a baseball match between their schools. If they win, Arifumi will have to stop using his ability. At the match, the group plans to use their abilities to win. Arifumi's team is surprised to see they are playing against girls, but the Hoshinoumi team becomes angry at Nao's attitude, but they are calmed down by Yusa. However, they find that Arifumi's pitching is too strong for their team's batters, and soon their team starts to lose. Nao asks you to use his powers to help them win, but the enemy school still manages to score 1 point through the combined efforts of Jujuru and Misa, and now they manage to load the bases, and although Yu misses his swing, the team barely managed to win against Arifumi. Arifumi agrees to stop using his ability, which he was doing because he wanted his catcher Takato to have a shot at becoming a pro player. Nao tells him to support his friend by not cheating. The next day, Yusa continues to be popular, but Yu notices that a group of girls seem to be bullying and beating up Nao. He doesn't help her, and today their target is a person who has been spotted flying in the mountains. To help their investigation, they decide to camp in the mountains, and while the group shops for groceries, Yusa and Jujuru remark that Nao and Yu look nice together. They make it to the site and make food until it becomes night, and Yu approaches Nao, who is listening to a band her brother used to like. When Yu listens to the music, he is impressed with how the songs captures the feeling of being alone. After taking turns watching over the campsite, they find nothing, so the next day they wash at the nearby stream. Their Jujuru reveals to Yu that powers seem to disappear over time as people become adults. They are soon confronted by the student and record him flying. The student tries to flee with their camcorder, but Yu controls him and the group captures him. They warn him about the dangers of his abilities and now manages to convince him to turn himself in. That night, Yu has dinner with his sister, but she seems to have gotten sick. Yu takes her out of class, and one of her classmates notices that Ayumi is missing the next day. They discover their next prospective student lives in their dorms. Nao suspects it might be Ayumi but does not outright say this. The group go to visit Ayumi with porridge and cookies, and they discover Ayumi's friends. Namura and Ikawa have come to visit. Ayumi is shocked to see Yusa because she is a big fan, and they have dinner together. Before Nao leaves, she tells Yu to keep an eye on his sister since it is likely that she will develop power soon. Ayumi also seems to have a bad dream. He asks Ayumi to stay at home another day, but she decides to sneak out against her brother's wishes. But at school, Ayumi runs into Kanishi, who hates Ayumi for allegedly stealing the boy she likes from her. Ayumi runs but is cornered and accidentally uses her new abilities, which collapse the building. Yu and the council are nearby. He runs in to find his sister is knocked out by falling rubble. Yu later wakes up in the hospital and is told that Ayumi died in the collapse. A shocked and depressed Yu stays in his apartment and avoids contact with others. Thanks for watching. Like for part 2.